read one of the story which has been translated by a friend in English. And then there is a poem that is written by me. So I will start by the story. The story title is The Highlander. A faint smile clung to the aging Highlander's lips as he squinted at the snow-capped peaks of the distant mountains. He could make out the tiny rivulets that came down the mountainside as the summer sun battled the accumulated snow. Over time, the rivulets had cut deep ravines into the mountainside, which were bordered by deep snow on both sides. As he gazed upon the brilliant blue of the summer sky, the old man's smile grew a little deeper. He knew that the sky is a bright blue when viewed from the mountain top. It made him think of the night sky, which is even more wondrous, brimming with a multitude of bright twinkling stars like the shimmering beads sewn onto the innocent child's quilt. The mountains were a part of Highlander's life. When he stood up, his hulking frame reminded passersby of the mountains from where he had descended. His beard was as white and as deep as the snow that covered them, and his soul was as bright as the sun that shone down upon them. Time had carved craggy lines into his weathered, rough-hewn face like the ravines on the mountains. Over the years, tiny rivulets of tears must have flown through the craggy lines on the mountain's man face. But no one had ever seen him cry, not even when he buried his teenage son. Even on that day, his eyes remained dry and emotionless, like the dark granite of barren rocky mountains. Yet, tears must have flown. They must have. In the dead of a gloomy, moonless, starless night, when the darkness engulfs everything. The kind of night when a brooding, malevolent presence lies in waiting for the weary traveler who has wandered off the trodden path. The one waiting for the traveler to come home has to wait that night and every night. He has waited even when time has carved craggy lines into his weathered face. Or was it the tears? The tears that has sculpted the Highlander's face? The Highlander was like a mountain, craggy, weathered face, flowing white beard, and a white woolen cloak thrown over his broad shoulders. He was sitting cross-legged in the patio of his house. The woodwork that adorned the boundary of the patio was a simple pattern of crisscrossing wooden panels whose intersection were little squares, the little squares of emptiness. The sunlight cascading through the panels were filtered into neat little squares of light. Neat little squares of light scattered across the floor, strung together like in a garland of light lying on the ground. The Highlander was still smiling as the sun began to set The garland of light was becoming one with the shadows. He rose effortlessly off the floor and lay down on his bed placed in the patio. He took another look at the distant mountains, smiled, and closed his eyes. And you ask me, what a life and death. Sunlight that crept in form from an opening and then faded away. Thank you.